Testing 2.
Hello, I'm Cody, I'm the producer.
I'm Connor, I'm the designer.
I'm Ellie, the artist.
And I'm Dustin, the programmer.
And we are the League of Evil. Once we started the semester, we immediately found out that our strength was in systems, and we decided that we were going to create 3 goals based off of that for our game going into the year. First, we wanted our game to be modular. We wanted it to be easily scalable into the next semester, and we wanted to focus on user experience. And with that in mind, we created Capital Vice. Hey! So you may ask yourself, what is Capital Vice? Well, Capital Vice is a game where you play as Vegas acts and or personalities of Vegas. And your goal is to amass as much wealth as possible. And how are you going to do that? But of course, abuse the powers of the demon greed. Because you gotta make a deal with the devil in order to make a lot of money. So,
What better venue is there to accumulate wealth in Vegas than a Vegas casino?
in Capital Vice, you play as, well, Greed himself, who is the only one who has the ability to break the casino. And he's the only one that can gather everything. But as a Vegas act, you also have the power to destroy him. So when you are not playing as Greed, you'll be leveling up your abilities to eventually destroy him, and then you will take over his position if you grab the gem. So, but of course you don't want your friends to be grabbing any of that cash, so you're gonna throw a firebomb at the back of their head, and then you're gonna run in and grab the money. So, who is this game for? Well, it's for killers who love chaos and destruction, socializers who love talking smack and playing with their friends. These are 2 gamer archetypes that work hand in hand, because the killers need the socializers essentially like approval to give them that feeling of, yes, I'm creating that chaos, I'm doing that destruction, I'm making them feel bad, essentially.
Awesome. So we want to show you off how we got to the point that we're currently at today, so that's what we're going to do right now. Oh, no. That was not. So in sprints 1 and 2, we had our physical prototype, which was all about controlled chaos and role interaction between players. In sprint 1 and 2, we also had our Unity prototype, which was actually fully networked. In sprint 3, we had our first Unreal Engine prototype. It was split screen, and it had the first full gameplay loop implemented. In sprint 4 was all about backend. We fully implemented networking and started researching Unreal's gameplay ability system, or GAS for short. A lot of it is passed, by the way. Sprint 5, we implemented GAS into our backend. We created an entirely new level, and we added in destructible objects to our environment. Sprint 6, we began prototyping abilities, made Greed larger, and added in the Greed gem to give all players a fair chance of becoming Greed. In Sprint 7, we added in Greed's model, more destructibles, and our smash, range smash, crossbow, knife, and sprint abilities. In Sprint 8, we made a new model, added in the whip, firebomb, roar, and explosion abilities. Along with this, we also added in our bag collection system to change how the game is won. With all of this, we also added in hit markers and controller rumbles for player feedback. In Sprint 9, we added in our task system that allowed players to level up their abilities by doing certain actions. We also gave Greed the ability to pick up and throw other players and throw them halfway across the map. In Sprint 10, we needed a new map, refined all of our abilities, and put in a ton of textures. Say goodbye to red Greed. In Sprint 11, we updated our UI, added in notifications, fully integrated Steam, and did a ton of back-end fixes. And finally, in Sprint 12, we gave the entire map an overhaul, added in more animations, new projectile models, new music and sound, and we made Greed explode all of his bags on death as a risk versus reward mechanic. So how did we get to this point? Oh, no.
Don't look.
Lenny!
So we didn't actually record any of that footage after the fact. All of that was live footage from real-life QA tester gameplay over the course of the entire semester. We did this using our custom in-house software called the QA Recorder, which helped us easily onboard testers and really gather some more gameplay analytics.
So we went to all 29 QA sessions this semester, which accumulated to over 72 hours of QA testing, or 3 full days. We iterated quickly using rapid iterative testing methodologies, and that allowed us to fix bugs and implement new systems between each and every single testing session. And we would like to also thank all of our testers and both of the QA managers, as we could not have made this game without you.
So speaking of player experience, we use another custom in-house tool called Yogurt, your own games user research toolset. Yogurt helps us gather concrete analytical data to really understand how our players are interacting with the world and with each other. In addition, we use this data to go back and iterate on our level design.
So for our second semester, we plan on implementing custom game modes, which will make it so that players can essentially just make whatever they want. So if they want an all grade mode, they can all play as grade, and they can figure that out. And also, we're going to create a menu so that we can use our devs to create static game modes. So we can just fill out everything ahead of time and just hide the menu so that the players don't see it, and they can click all grade if they want to play all grade. We also want to do 3 more player roles and dynamic maps, and we think that we can accomplish this because with our qualitative and quantitative data, we've proven that we can iterate rapidly.
So to kind of expand upon some of the things that Cody has said, while we do have those goals for next semester, there are many different directions we can take to evolve our player experience in Capital Device. So first up is game modes. So some game modes we've come up with is a game mode where everyone plays as greed. We also have an odd man out mode where only one player is a Vegas act and everyone else is greed. And then we also potentially want to look into doing a Casino Royale mode and have 16 players all at once in our casino. As for Vegas acts in our roles, we have a few that we've also come up with. We have a washed up rocker who uses amps to zone off sections of the map. We have a magician who uses their power in the mystical arts to empower their cards. We also have a grandmother who really loves bingo and hits greed with her rocket-powered walker. As for maps, casinos are awesome, and so here's a few that we've come up with as well. So, for example, Treasure Island, a Caribbean-themed map that has a swinging pirate ship in the middle. New York, New York, which takes place in a city skyline with a roller coaster running through it the entire time. And The Venetian, a map where portions of the map are actually flooded at certain points during gameplay to make players forced to different sections of the map.
And that's the beauty of setting Capital Vice in a casino. There's no limit to the amount of scenes you can come up with, so there's no limit to the environments that we can create. And casinos themselves are inherently exciting and chaotic, lending itself perfectly to our core gameplay.
So to control this chaos, we use the gameplay ability system, otherwise known as GAS. GAS, we use it to rapidly implement and iterate on our player abilities. It's an Unreal Engine form developed by Epic, specifically so that Fortnite could be made with very little hard code. And yes, that is their award-winning game. So in addition, Epic never really intended to release GAS to the public. So it has very minimal or barely any documentation. As a part of our second semester plan, we'll be continuing to document GAS along with our game so that we can publicly release the largest one-stop shop of easy-to-understand GAS documentation.
So just how easy and quick DAS is to use, we'll show you something we whipped up in about 5 to 10 minutes. So if you take Danny Dangerous's crossbow bolts, they're fairly basic, it's Danny's basic ability. Well, what if we had explosions to it? Okay, well, you know what, maybe one explosion's not enough. How about we chain explosions to other explosions?
That's good.
So yeah, this is just one of the many examples of how we can quickly iterate and develop new characters and abilities. The options with GAS are literally endless. And yes, this did really actually only take us 5 to 10 minutes. Now, to talk about how we plan to take over and steal all of the Beanie Babies in the world, we're going to need to add some more supervillains to our team. First up is artists. So the number one thing we need for our team is an environment artist to help us create a believable and an interactive world. We also would love to have a UI artist to help improve our user experience and a character artist to help create more roles. Next is designers. We also would like to have a level designer that would work with the environment artist to help create an engaging level, a UI UX designer to help us with game feel, a generalist to help us with any design needs, and a systems designer to help me with role creation and game balance, as it is our biggest risk when making this game.
Really, we just have a lot of space to really expand, so any programmers would be valuable.
Come join us.